Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I haven't been uploading that much. I really have not been feeling myself lately. I haven't been doing very well mentally. I'm kind of really stressed out because of school, so I haven't really been uploading that much. It's also really windy outside, so I'm wearing this so that it doesn't catch up on any of the wind sounds. And I told myself, hey, it's been 5 days since my last upload, so I should probably get onto that. Um, Sorry to get into my feelings like that. I know you guys aren't here for my feelings. I know you guys are here for my content. So let's just get right into it. So I watched MDPOPE, or partially. I haven't finished watching it actually, because get this, this thing is more longer than The Godfather Part 2. Like 3 hours and like 40 minutes or something. The Godfather Part 2 is like 3 hours and 20 minutes or something. This is longer than The Godfather. And it's also probably the most underwhelming in the series when it comes to the disturbing factor, but I think it might actually be my favorite in the series. Partially because of that is because like you could see this was around the time that this movie was made in 2015, so you can tell this was around the time that we were entering like a very comedic state of YouTube. Five Nights at Freddy's had just been introduced, so we actually get a little jingle of Five Nights at Freddy's in this movie, like the song do 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 that's in this movie, like a little jingle of it. Um, it's a bit more comedy, so this is kind of like the Human Centipede 3 of mixtapes. Um, and that's really not saying much because there's some stuff in here that never fails to get me. Like there's also a lot of less scat. Like I think MD Pope 2 was worse. Like MD Pope 2 really takes the cake when it comes to the more disturbing movies. Like in my opinion, they should have started with MD Pope 3, then they should have gone MD Pope 1 and then MD Pope 2 for the ending, because if they wanted to like go out with a bang in terms of disturbingness, they should have gone with MD Pope 2. But MD Pope 2 is kind of short and it's kind of sweet at the same time. Sweet as in short and sweet, not sweet as in, because it probably tastes like shit. But if this mixtape had a taste, it would probably taste like coffee candy, because that sucks. No, I'm kidding. So I watched it partially, and today I told you guys I wasn't feeling my best, but I told myself, you know what, I need to get an upload for you guys because you guys have been waiting very patiently for this. Alright, so the movie opens with, the typical warning, like the letters are spelled with body parts and everything, and it says how he's the most disturbing person on planet Earth and he wants to disturb everyone and desensitize everyone. The usual edgelord. And then it shows a guy who face fucks a dead woman at a morgue, which is fake. How do I know it's fake? Okay, I know in the comments people are going to be like, oh, but there's involuntary eye movements and your eye can twitch even though you're dead. Okay, I know that, but I don't think your eye should twitch like 3 times in a row, like you're actually blinking. So it's a woman on a table. She's dead, dead, and the guy walks over to her and he opens her mouth like very slowly, and then he puts his member inside her mouth and he starts to go at it. You see her blink twice, like 3 times. Like I know her head is like this, but you see her eyelashes move up and down, so that you can tell she's blinking. And two, it seems like her chest is slowly like going up and going down. Like if you want to tell me that's involuntarily movement, like nah, I think she's alive. And also, you can see her mouth slowly open, like very slightly by itself. Like he's pulling it open, and then it opens by itself a little bit more to be able to fit it in. So, in my conclusion, I think this is fake. Don't worry. But trust me, stuff like this does happen in real life. And then it shows a guy whose entire like side of the face is overtaken by maggots, and it's all black, and they're all moving, and he's somehow still alive. Goddamn. And then it shows. I saw this clip on Heavy R. Pretty heavy stuff. You can find on Heavy R actually. It's mostly porn, but if you search up Gore, whew, you'll find some great stuff there. It shows a screaming man who runs on fire, like he's literally on fire, like Michael Myers at the end of Halloween 2, I think. And he runs into a building and he runs out and he's still screaming, and his douchebag friends recording are literally doing nothing about it until they they throw some cloth on him. He'll be okay. Actually, no, he won't, because he looks like he might have died. And it shows this guy with a stump leg. He jerks himself off with a coat hanger and he comes. Like he puts like the edge of the coat hanger and he puts his wee in there and he like moves it and he comes. Nothing wrong with that, Everyone needs self-care. And then it shows children slicing their own faces. like as a ritual. Like they have the swords and they're going like this, and they're all bloody and shit. It's like that thing from like the other MD Pope where they would slice their backs open, except it's children. I just heard my mom pick up a knife from the kitchen, so I'm really scared right now. And it shows this baby who runs into the road, and he's like, he's slowly doing that baby hands in the air thing, and he gets in a car like is going pretty slow. It hits him. He falls over, and he just gets demolished by the two tires. And this other kid standing by runs over to the kid and picks him up. That's a dead kid. That's a dead kid, man. And then it shows this guy who runs at another man on a stairway, and he starts stabbing him repeatedly. The guy almost escapes, but he's dragged down the stairs. Like he's trying to go up the stairs because he's like in like one of those like places where you go up the stairs in an apartment complex, and he gets pulled in and he gets KO'd. Man, that guy is dying. Well, he's dead, obviously. Can't imagine the pain of going out getting stabbed. Like I can't imagine like how much that would hurt. And this shows this father who puts her daughter like down in a like they're in like an outside like an outdoor restaurant. He puts her down on a table, and then this guy walks up to him and he points a gun to his head and he shoots him, and he dies in front of her daughter. So very fucking tragic stuff that these kids in like the fucking foreign countries have to go through, like seeing their parents dying, having to die themselves. We've already seen enough in Snuff R73. We know how bad it is over there. And then it shows the flaying of Saudi Arabia corpses. There's a whole bunch of corpses on the ground, and this guy's walking around with a very sharp-ass Rambo knife and just slicing all their skin off. Probably gonna tenderize them. Like, what do you do with the skin after you cut it? Do you just throw it away, or do you eat it? I don't know. And it shows this baby who is under the train tracks, and there are people above him. They're panicking, but they don't want to put their hands into the ground because they might get their hands stuck under the wheel. And he crawls onto the railing at the same time that the train moves, and he gets run over, and he dies. Really sad. I don't know, man. I don't know how a kid gets stuck in a situation like that, but it happens. It happens all too often, unfortunately. And it shows this amputee guy who fists a gay guy. It was the same clip from the other MDPOPE, so he's reusing clips. Kind of like how I heard Fetus Munchers 2 stole from the first Fetus Munchers. I wish I could get Fetus Munchers, man. I need Fetus Munchers. And then it shows this girl who's riding a dick, and then she comes, and the cum is so thick that it looks like cottage cheese. And like at the beginning of this clip, there was a title card that said "Girl Comes Cottage Cheese" or like "Girl Who Comes Cottage Cheese," and it played the FNAF song. That's all it played. And then it shows a gif of some people getting really disgusted. And then it shows the same, like, coming cottage cheese clip again. And then it shows a clip from that puppet movie, which is like Special Agent Patrol or something. I don't remember the name of it. Special America Team Force or something. And it shows one of the puppets from that movie vomiting while intertwined with showing the cummy cottage cheese and very dramatic music. So it's around this time where the movies start getting really comedic. This is the last movie, so this one, I guess they decided to make it a little lighthearted because this movie is kind of funny at times. I know I'm showing no signs of joy, but trust me, I do enjoy these a little bit. It shows this guy laying on the ground, is shot in the head by a shotgun. Like this clip goes on for like 2 seconds and then it's done. It shows this guy who's laying there like that, and then they point a gun to his head. They shoot him. His head just opens up, and then the next clip is it shows this guy with a very there's a circle on his face, and inside is very yellow, and it's opened up, and it's all infected and shit. It's like it has a red center, but on like all the other side, it's like grease yellow. I don't know, man. And then it shows our first scat clip. It shows a dog that shits all over a woman, and then she kisses and licks his anus. Like he like she's under him, his butt is over here. He shits on her. She gets up, she licks his anus. There you go. That's our first scat clip. And it shows this man who played with fireworks. He now is missing, like it says, fool who played with fireworks or something, and his whole bottom jaw is just, it's somewhere else. It's in another dimension. 3 teens get hit by a car all at once. Like they're all standing in the middle of the road, which get out of the road. I've seen many kids in my life personally who've been standing in the middle of the road. A car passes by them. Oh, they act all shocked. Like you're standing in the middle of the road. That's where cars go. Cars go in a highway. I don't know why you don't know this. And these guys, they pay the price because they all get hit by a car once, and they probably suffered major injuries or died. And it shows this young girl who is set on fire and screams as the crowd is screaming and cheering along with her. Well, she's not cheering because she's on fire. I don't know why. Maybe she, like, they thought she was a witch or something. Because that always happens in like these Spanish and foreign countries. They always like punish you for like the littlest of things. Like you could fucking steal a I don't know, fucking water from some another water hole, and you're gonna die for it. You're gonna get set on fire. You're gonna get put in I don't know. It's crazy. It said it shows a newborn baby who got a knife stabbed in its face, but it survived. So the knife is like here, and the rest of the knife is protruding out from there, but it's a bit deep. The knife is a bit deep, and it's alive and it's crying. Very upsetting stuff. Again, I hate seeing babies get hurt, but this one didn't affect me as much as SNFR 73. And it's just this dude who gets hit by a car on a motorcycle. He does a million flips in the air, and then he smacks on the ground and dies. A lot of like every time you see a motorcycle in this in the MDPOPE movies, prepare for an epic car crash. I've never seen a car crash in real life. Like I've never seen it in real time, like happening. The collision. If I see one, I only see the aftermath. Which I mean, I'm not saying that's something I look out for, but you know, I need a bit of action in my life. And it's just this fat guy who shoves a rat in his asshole, or he's trying to. He's bent down, ass in the camera. Excuse me. And he's got a white little rat. This guy's got a ponytail, so that should let you know what type of person he is. And he starts trying to shove it up his ass, but the rat wants none of it. Poor rat, man. And it shows this guy who gets his fingers chopped off by an axe. You know, that's what they do, man. Not like you'll either get set on fire, you'll either get beheaded, or you'll get your fingers chopped off. They put his fingers on a chopping block, and then they get a little small axe, like this little baby axe, and they smash it, and they're cutting off his fingers very slowly. And the thing that always amazes me about these cartel beheadings and executions and like just overall hurting of the body, most of the people don't react. Like they don't scream, they're not shrieking in pain, they're not bleeding everywhere, and they're not like that. They almost like don't care. I heard that it's because some people are already so beaten and bruised that they don't even care what happens to them afterwards. But I mean, you have to, you know. And then shows this woman who gets fucked by a monster cock, and this monster cock looks like a raw salami sausage, a really deformed raw salami sausage. It almost looks like a turnip or something. I don't know. And that's just this guy who gets KO'd by a machete to the neck with a very clean cut, just like jumping up, bringing it down like Shao Kahn, like Cold Raven said. And then it shows this beheaded child. Like you can see the corpse of the child, and then right beside it there's a bag, and they pull out the head. Very sad. And then it shows black boars who are eating like literal fetuses on the streets. Like they're dragging fetuses on the ground. They're like either eat it in their mouths. They grab one with their mouths, and then they run away. It's crazy. It shows this guy who fucks a bloody dead corpse. This is real. This one is real, and it's more disturbing than the first morgue clip, because it's all bloodied and like you can barely recognize the face, and the fact that someone would be that desperate for sex that they would like do that. It really, you need to think about it. And it shows a woman who gives birth in her bathtub. Like it's one of those natural, very calming births. No screaming, no doctors, just in her home in the bathtub. Which it's actually pretty beautiful because you know it's a miracle of life. That's how you and me were born. Probably not in a bathtub, but you know you get the idea. Baby looks like it's covered in pizza sauce though. Probably just ruined many foods for you guys right there. It shows a worm who crawls out of a man's penis hole. Like the worm is literally like wriggling out of the guy's penis hole. He must really like it. The dude, not the worm, because if I was a worm, fuck, I wouldn't want to go there. And it shows this dude who's crossing the street. He gets smashed by a truck. You know, the truck is going down. They obviously can't see it because they're blind as shit. They hit it and they die. And it shows multiple people in the streets. Like this is a badass street fight. Like people are just like beating each other up like Street Fighter, or like the Ninja Turtles game on the SNES. That game is dope as fuck. And then it shows this car, like they all get hit by, most of them get hit by a speeding car that just speeds down the road. So that's one way to put an end to it. And it shows this dude who covers himself in gasoline, then lights himself on fire, and is like, this is in their bathtub, so you can obviously tell they're like drunk as hell. He lights himself on fire, and he's obviously panicking because I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know. This might blow your mind, but fire is actually hot and it hurts when you touch it. So that guy found that out the hard way. And it's just this guy who has his hairline infested with bugs. There's bugs crawling everywhere. It's pretty gross. It looks like worms. And it shows this dude who fucks a dead swan. Yeah, a swan. Like the beautiful, majestic, gorgeous creatures that swim in the sea. Not in the sea, but in like ponds. And they're so beautiful. When they touch together, they look like hearts. This guy's fucking the shit out of a dead one. And why you have to ruin nature's beauty like that, man? It shows doctors who extract this humongous dildo from this woman's ass. Like, it's almost like the registers for Tyson, but except that one was a pickle. Or, I mean, a cucumber. And it shows this dude who gets beheaded very slowly. Like, like, if you're gonna behead someone, not. I feel like I'm gonna contribute to the beheading if I say this, but at least make it fast, alright? At least make it quick and painless. Like, you want them to die, then just make them die. And it shows that clip from Run the Gauntlet where the woman puts the hot iron on the guy's cock. And you know how that clip ended really quickly? I thought this was going to be like an unabridged, uncut, extended version. No, it ends the exact same way. So either Thomas Gore got it from the Gauntlet, or that's the only clip of it that exists. But I bet there's like a more extended clip out there. It shows this dude who's dancing in the street like that, like literally Joker style, after chopping off his dick and balls. Or I think just his dick, but he's dancing, he's having the time of his life without his wiener. And it shows this dude who sucks on a cow's asshole until it shits, because apparently cows do not have the ability to shit themselves without you having to suck on their anus, like you have to do that to make the cow poo. Like, if I had to do that to make a cow poo, well, then the cow's gonna die of E. coli or something, because I'm not doing that. And it shows this extremely deformed baby. Like, it's a baby who has its head, like, not his head, but like its face, like it's all mangled and stuff, and it's being fed, but it's crying because, you can only be so happy when you have a deformed face. And it shows a guy who fell into a tiger pit, is mauled to death by a tiger, and being dragged away. Well, again, like, where are the zookeepers? Like, you need to shoot that bitch, because that guy's dead now because you didn't do anything about it. And it shows this young boy, like more, like younger than me, like 14 or 15. He's mercilessly decapitated. Like, he's just getting decapitated. Really, I don't know what a kid that age had to do. Maybe like I'm not saying kids that age aren't little monsters, because little kids like that, they can do horrible things. Like, look at the kids who killed that little kid and they were both 10 years old, and they like just beat the shit out of this little kid. And yeah. And it shows this dude who fucks a black rooster. He can't get any pussy, so he gets the cock instead. Leave the chickens alone. They're for eating, not for fucking. And it shows this boy with head blown open. He's twitching. He's going like, and it's pretty freaky. And it shows this dude who pulls scissors out of his peephole. Like, he pulls out. I have scissors around here. I can show you guys. I don't. Okay. Well, pretend this is a scissor. He's pulling this part out of it. He's just like, pretend these are scissors now. Hang on, guys. Alright, we're back. So after that, it shows this guy between a subway. He's on the platform. The train's going this way. He gets hit by it. He spins around. He dies. I'm assuming. And it shows this guy who fucks a girl with a prolapsed asshole. The tomato anus. That's what she has. He's fucking it. And it shows a gay man who rapes a homeless man. Like, the homeless man is barely struggling, so I don't know if he likes it. I don't know if he just doesn't have the strength in him to defend himself. And then it shows this autistic man have sex with a woman. Again, I'm not going to shame people who have mental disorders for having sex. Everyone deserves to have sex. I deserve to have sex, but I haven't had it yet, so that's a problem. And it shows this woman who's biting this man's dick tip. Like, she's literally just tearing this guy. Well, she's not tearing it apart. She's just biting it. And it shows this dude who cuts off the head of his penis with a knife. Like, you know, the tip of your penis? He's cutting it off with a knife, and it just comes off, and he's bleeding everywhere. And he does it on a chopping block too. I think my friend showed me a similar clip like this when I was in grade like 5 or 6 or something. Yeah, that's what we used to watch. We also remember that website Horse Cum? Remember that website where it was just women having sex and like sucking horse cock? That's what we used to watch in the bathrooms, as in grade 6. That's what we used to spend our time doing instead of doing schoolwork. And it's just this reporter who lights himself on fire. Like they're all like on this political debate. They're sitting at like a desk, like a very long desk for everyone to sit in, and he's talking, and he just lights himself on fire, and everyone's screaming. They're trying to put him out. I don't know why he did it, but he did it. And then this guy who's split in half by a train, and he's still alive, but only the top half. Like the bottom half, that would be pretty freaky. Imagine if like the bottom half just got up and started running away. That'd be pretty scary. But no, it's this guy who's just laying there and he's going like, cause he just got hit by a train. And it shows an Australian 7-Eleven axe attack, except it doesn't because the screen is black, so there's nothing there. It just shows Australian 7-Eleven axe attack, which I would love to see, but it's not there because it's just a completely black screen. I don't know if it had something to do with my copy or if Thomas Cinema just messed up something. I mean, he messed up, man. If you know his backstory, he messed up. But I don't know if he messed up like the processing of the video or if something happened. He forgot to add the clip in and he only added the text, but there's nothing there. And it shows this dude who jerks his wee wee, and when he comes, it pushes out a metal rod from his peep, like a very small metal rod, not so big, but pretty big. And it shows people singing in a circle, and suddenly a guy explodes as a guy takes pictures of himself. Talk about a photo bomb. Um, like they're all in the thing. There's like they're all preaching and stuff. They're all singing, and then this guy pulls out his phone like that, and everyone just explodes. Not all of them die because you see people running away, but yeah, talk about a photo bomb. Like it literally says photo bomb, so I didn't make that joke up myself. Don't worry. And it shows brutal beheading via machete and a lot of smacking. Like, they're bringing the machete down. Like, I can't imagine how much it hurts to get like just demolished by a machete. And it shows this clip makes no sense. It shows this girl wearing a cowbell, titty strainers, like the thing that squeezes a woman's tits, spiked collar, a nose ring like how a pig wears, a cowboy hat, and pigtails, has water thrown at her as something is keeping her mouth open like this. Like she's like, I don't even remember the sound she was making. It was so weird. So weird. Which is why I'm telling you guys, this one is funnier than the other ones. Trust me. And I showed this dude with a very deformed spiky penis. Like it's like it's thick on the bottom, but as it goes up, it gradually builds up a tip, and then it just bing, like a little spike. And he's having sex with a woman. And it shows multiple dead babies are being sold in a dead baby flea market. Like there's like a whole tray full of dead like babies, and they're selling it. Dude, what's wrong with you? And it shows this madman, this absolute insane person who eats an alive cat and just chews it apart. He's like how the Walking Dead zombies would. And this is this guy who butt fucks a cobra. Like he finds the cobra's anus and he starts fucking it while it's wrapped around him. I don't know if that's his pet. I don't know if he got it from somewhere. But personally, me being a sane person and all, I wouldn't do that. And this was this poor Asian child who has a mangled and burnt face, and he's crying, and the mom is talking to the camera, but it's an Asian, so I don't understand what she's saying, but it's really sad. Must have been war. I bet it was war or some sort of hate crime, or maybe it was an accident. Maybe they were making dinner and he got burnt, but, poor kid. Actually, this guy who's stabbed to death by a robber. Like the robber comes in, he looks at him, and he starts stabbing him. And this guy, he put up a fight. Like at least you can say this man died putting up a fight. But in the end, it didn't matter because the dude with the knife overpowered him and he killed him. Actually, this guy who corkscrews his penis with a drill. Like it's like the swirly drill. He's drilling his dick with that, and he has no expression on his face. He's like, so I don't know if he's enjoying it or if he's just doing it because his life has no purpose anymore. I'm just gonna move that a little light. Someone was telling me you should get a ring light. I'm sorry, I'm poor. And it shows this woman who's smashed by a car. She's sent flying across the road. Done dada, she dead. And it shows this bear who mauls to death a man at a zoo. And again, well, they actually shoot the thing, but excuse me. I don't know why, but some animals they have like 150 HP because when you shoot them one time they won't do anything. You shoot them again, it doesn't do anything. The third time you can see they're getting weak. So like they're like really resilient to bullets. So good, awesome. You know, imagine if we were resilient to bullets. And obviously the guy is dead by the time they even do anything. Like by the time the bear, I don't even know if the bear came off of him because the clip ended. It shows this woman who shoves a high heel piston, like the back of the heel, into this guy's pee-pee hole, and she pulls it out, and there's blood. There will be blood. And it shows this dude's eye is palpitating in and out after death. He's like it's coming in and out of his face. And it shows this naked woman above a rotisserie fire, spinning around, like you know how they would roast things and like back then when they would like spin the thing and the pig or the hog would spin around like that. It's kind of disturbing to see it. Like there's not that big of a fire, but you can hear like the crackling of a fire. It's really weird and kind of freaky, man. That had me astonished when I was like, what? It shows a screaming man whose teeth are removed with pliers, and it's not a human centipede thing. This is real. It shows this guy who's laying on the ground, like in the dark, in like a forest, and they're ripping his teeth. You can literally hear like each time they rip out his teeth, like, and he's screaming, as you'd have to assume. It shows this dude who shits onto a plate, and then he eats it with a fork and a knife. There you go, another scat clip. And I just okay. He's eating it very fast. He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. So don't worry about it. I show this dog who mauls a man to death in a cage while the other dogs are just freaking out. They're like the other dogs are freaking out because they want a piece of it, but they're all behind their own cages. And it shows a man who, like, this clip is called he loves his vacuum a little too much. And it shows this guy who fucks his vacuum cleaner on his bed. He found a hole, and as Master Oogway said, if there's a hole, there's a way. So he did it. And then two men shoot a man to death on the street, and just like it's called like street justice, so it's like some boys in the hood type stuff. They're shooting his head, and then the other guy has a rifle, and he's just continuously shooting his head, and he just grinds his head to meat paste. It shows this girl who shoves a rod into a man's penis and jerks it out, and she makes blood come out. So, I mean, imagine finding someone crazy enough to like the same things you like. Like, I bet that guy must be happy to have a girl who likes doing that stuff to him. I wouldn't. And it shows this dead man who's lit on fire as the crowd gathers and yells. Like, he's on the ground, he's on fire, and they're obviously cheering because he was probably something, I don't know, I won't come to assume, because someone in my other comments told me it can be a useful coping mechanism, but you should not justify what the cartel does. I don't justify what the cartel does. I don't know. Like, and I don't need a coping mechanism really, because this stuff really doesn't affect me that much. I'm not trying to be edgy. I'm not trying to be this cool edgelord TikTok boy. No, I will admit when something gets to me. I will admit it. I have admitted it in the past, and I will continue to admit it until the day I die, to prove that I am actually a person with a brain. Because all those TikTok boys that are like recording themselves, they're like, "Oh, I'll steal your bitch. Oh, I like blood and gore." Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, obviously you're 5 years old, so if you cut yourself and you see a little bit of blood, you're obviously going to scream and faint and piss yourself. So you have no reason to be talking. It shows this guy who runs to inspect a dead boy on the ground in front of a building, and as he does, this other corpse smashes down beside him and almost hits him, but he doesn't. So it was really lucky, because I'm pretty sure if that had hit him, he would have died. And it shows the aftermath of a little boy who was shot in the head and killed. Like, he's on the ground, he's bleeding very profusely. The blood is covered in ground, GTA style. And it shows this man who fucks a dog that is hanging on a tree. Like, this is despicable to me. Like, this dog is tied up. He's fucking it from behind. The dog is whimpering. It's trying to move, but it can't because it's tied. Like, by the neck. So it's like, it's being hung and fucked at the same time. And it shows this woman who blowjobs a dildo that's covered in shit. Like, it's all covered in shit. She's blowjobbing it. You know, really, really, like, oh, man. It shows these guys who are relaxing and talking outside of a store before, and it's really dark. It's like dark. It's like right now. Well, not right now dark. It's even darker than right now. And this car pulls up, and several men come out with machetes, and they just jump these guys with machetes. They're beating this one guy, and they leave one of the guys very bloody because the other guys just got out of there, and they're leaving this guy bruised and bloody on the floor. They're abandoning him, unfortunately. And after they all leave, like because they leave this guy alive, or they leave him to die because I don't know the state he was in. And it shows like temple full of people just explodes and sends multiple people flying. Like they're all going everywhere. There's debris falling from the ceiling. Some tarp fell off, and some of them are dead, of course. It shows this guy who had stolen a goat. Apparently, he stole a goat. Because remember, guys, remember, you should never go with what the cartel say, because cartel could be like, oh, we're killing this man, we're cutting off this guy's penis because he raped a girl. Who knows, maybe that guy's just an innocent bystander who just happened to be chosen to get his penis cut off, and he didn't do a damn thing. So don't worry. I do worry a lot. I don't know why I said don't worry, but don't always go with what the captions say. But what it says right here is this guy apparently stole a goat, and he had his hands sliced off. He was beaten and burnt, and he's laying in a hospital bed, groaning in pain. And you can see his hands like beside him, because all he has is like these nubs, and he's just pulling up to his faces like Funky Town Gore. And this was this girl eating in front of a marketplace. Like she's taking a little sample of the stuff, and then this guy walks up to her, and he just buries a knife into her back, Michael Myers style. And then he leaves once he's satisfied, but he hasn't killed her. She's like staggering everywhere. There's this little girl who comes out to see what's going on, and she runs back inside, hopefully to get the mom or someone. And yeah. And it shows this Japanese game, where women play a game where there's a tube, and in the middle of the tube there's a bug, and there's these two women on either side of the tube, and they're blowing like this one's blowing, that one's blowing. The whole point of the game is to blow so hard that the bug goes into the mouth of the other woman. This one on this side wins because she blows the bug into the other girl's mouth. It goes into her mouth. It's not that gross, but there's this really weird, creepy ambience that makes it just a wee bit uncomfortable. And it shows this woman who can't handle a cum shot from a blowjob, and she coughs and makes cum come out of her nose. Like she's like, like when that fucking challenge people used to do where they take like a toilet roll thingy and they would try to drink it like a big ass straw. That like she goes and it goes everywhere, and they start laughing because it's a bit silly. And so this man who's mauled by two dogs on the street as bystanders yell and freak out. The dogs are being whipped, but they don't stop like fucking this guy up. It's crazy. It's just this man who eats alive baby mice with a chopstick. Like he picks, like they're so baby that they don't even have fur yet. Like he has chopsticks, like he's chewing them up, really gross. It shows a rapist, cause you never know, a rapist who is sodomized with a large metal pipe as he screams. Like it's a really long ass pipe. They shove it into his ass, and he screams, and he's being held down by multiple people. It shows this man who pokes a fetus with a small metal rod and gently strokes it, and it's alive because you can see his arms moving and stuff. And it shows this mad lad who pours gasoline on himself, lights himself ablaze, and runs into a government building just screaming. They put him out. I don't know if that was a political statement or if he just had nothing else to do. It shows this man who grabs a tree slug and he starts chewing it, and it's all like filled with slime, so it's really watery. And it's an Asian man. Not to be stereotypical, but you guys have proved in the past that you guys will eat anything. Anything. And he's crushing it up with his teeth. I'm just going to read off three more clips because, I need to get a video out, and I'd like to keep my videos in a certain length, if you understand my drift. And it shows this gay foursome ends with the bottom guy getting, he's getting fucked. There's this guy, so there's this guy. Pretend I'm the guy. He's here. There's a guy in front of him penetrating him. There's this other guy above him jerking his dick off to him, and he gets mad for some reason, and he kicks the guy who's fucking him really angrily, and they actually start fighting, and then the camera crew is like, get him out of here. So you lost your job, dipshit. and this woman who's hacked into pieces and stabbed brutally and decapitated with a machete. Like it's this guy who was with his girlfriend, I assume, like absolutely demolishing this girl. And then the last clip for this video, because this movie is a trip. You know, there's more magical moments in this movie later on, and it shows the last clip. It shows this guy at a shooting range who, they're shooting with a gun. I actually have a gun right here, so you can get a feel for it. It's not a real gun. It's obviously a fake gun. So he has a gun. He's shooting, like, he's doing the shooting range, and then he tries to shoot himself. He puts the gun like right here, but there's a small gap between his arm. He shoots himself, and there's the instructor who's behind him gets shot in the stomach, and he falls over. And the guy who has the gun just stares at him like that, like no emotion whatsoever. And the guy who got shot is obviously looking at him, really, really worried because he might die. This gun is really shit. Like, look at this. Look at that. It's all dumb. Like, the thing right here doesn't even stay. It's dumb. But if you probably took this out in the middle of the street and held it up to someone's face, you'd probably get shot multiple times. Except for this little orange thing right here. My favorite gun in my toy collection is this shotgun right here. Look at that. It sounds really crap, but it's really cool. Alright, now that I've showed that I am a 16-year-old boy that plays with toys, thank you guys so much for watching. That is all I'll show for now. I'm very tired, and also I just want to get a video out as quick as possible. Thank you guys so much for waiting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.